Hello everyone. Today I want to talk about generative AI and reading. When you look at history, reading came about because of this development of a technology called as writing by us humans. And so reading helps us understand, decode information from writing. And that is why today when you take courses on reading, you will actually learn different kinds of reading. When you look at human, reading is something which is not very innate to human as such. The thing that is innate to human is to be curious, to be creative, to actually learn information as such, or to have knowledge. And that is something which, with the technology of writing, reading helped us to do. But then with the coming of generative AI, this idea is changing because generative AI can actually read, generative AI can analyze, generative AI can understand text and do it in much more efficient way. Just to say that generative AI can do everything that has to do with human and its relation to reading as such. For example, if you are to read a book, let's say you are an academician in this sense, and you are to read a book, you will take 2 days to 2 weeks to read a book, analyze and understand that. But generative AI can do that in few seconds, or let's say a minute. With the coming of a technology like this, we really have to rethink this idea of reading as such. The way we go about rethinking reading is like this. We do not actually have to read a text word by word or a paragraph, to understand the arguments that are there in any kind of writing. Because the way we thought about reading traditionally is that if you are a serious reader, you read everything word by word, you analyze the arguments in the paragraph by arguments, paragraph by paragraph. That is invalid now, because that is something which generative AI can do in few seconds. Because human does not have to do that anymore. The only skill that is very much needed by us humans is to actually, what are the things that will actually help us analyze a text? That is a skill which is very much needed. And to actually analyze the text using prompts in generative AI platform. That is a skill that which all of us should be learning at this time. But having said that, some people read for the sake of pleasure and luxury. And again, there is no argument against that. I mean, you can continue reading for the sake of pleasure and luxury. But then humans usually do not actually read for the sake of pleasure or luxury, or not all humans have the privilege to read for the sake of pleasure and luxury. If you have any questions, please put it down in the comment section. I will engage with your questions in the coming videos.